Two Sulphur City councilmen have been expressing concern with some of city staff's decisions over the last several months.
K10's Alexander Porter learned their goals as they begin new mayor terms as mayor and vice mayor.
The city of Sulphur has a new mayor. Derek Stone is a new face to the position, but not new to city council. Despite the change in title, his plan remains the same on what he wants to bring to the table as an elected official. Along with Derek Stone being elected mayor, Ward 1 Councilman Alan McKay was also re-elected by the council as vice mayor. McKay and Stone have been vocal over the last several months, raising concerns about some of city staff's decisions, starting with the removal of the public comments item from the regular council agenda in September to most recently audit reports.
We have a state audit coming. We don't know when. We know that's going to cost somewhere between $75,000 and north of $150,000, plus the figures that were given to us by, Jack Roy, our annual auditor. That's initially cost the city on the low end $500,000 in 1 year, and it's just not acceptable.
And how long it's taken for work to be done on rebuilding downtown.
We're looking at scars that should have been cleaned up a long time ago. We're 13, 14 months into a cleanup effort, and management just dropped the ball on the things that need to be done.
With their new terms as the leaders of city council already underway, McKay and Stone plan to address those concerns.
As a councilman, we cannot get on to any city staff whatsoever that are under the city manager. But in line, that right there is partly where it falls. We need to get some backbone.
I've got some questions that I need to have answers to. And once I have those answers, then we move forward. If city staff doesn't want to adhere to the city policy, the personnel policy, the city charter, then, it's inevitable. Staff change is what has to happen.
In Sulphur, Oklahoma, Alexander Porter, K10 News.
As we head into Memorial Day weekend, we remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice on the altar of freedom.
K10's Caroline Kellum spoke with the sister of a Whitewright warrior killed in Vietnam.
It was worth knowing. He was worth remembering.
You saved my life, a phrase we throw around too often. For Sergeant David Blanton, it's more than just an expression.
They traded places because he was not a new guy. He had the experience. And my brother's unit was the first platoon to go in. And we never saw him after that.
Not many people knew Jimmy in Vietnam because he was a friendly new guy. I did. I am alive because of him. Words written to Sergeant Jimmy Burchfield's sister, 54 years after he was killed in Vietnam.
He was a normal brother like all of them are. He chased me, and he sometimes took me on a double date with him. We were very close.
Sergeant Burchfield graduated from Whitewright High School in 1963 and East Texas State University in 1967.
He was a brilliant young man. He was drafted into the Army, and he went to Fort Polk and served and trained in the infantry, and made a staff sergeant within a couple of years.
Still, the Burchfields didn't expect to send their son across the ocean so soon.
Last time we saw him was Christmas of 1969. We all had a family Christmas. All of our feet were under the same table.
At 24 years old, Burchfield was deployed to Vietnam.
Uncle Sam called and he went and he served proudly.
On the first day of his first mission, Burchfield was killed as a mortar round landed in their foxhole.
It was 5 days before we knew. We heard he was missing in action. And then we got the news that he had been killed, and it took 16 days for his body to come home.
3 years after his burial at Whitewright's Oak Hill Cemetery, Sergeant Burchfield's family refused to give up hope.
There's always that little bit of a doubt that it was him. So we kept looking. When 1972, when all the troops come home, we kept thinking, or I did, maybe they made a mistake.
Sergeant Burchfield would have turned 80 years old this year.
I can't imagine. He'll always be 23, and he will always be the family's hero. And we love him. We'll always love him. But we're going to see him again.
His Army uniform, preserved for over 50 years by the people who loved him most, is now displayed at the Perrin Air Force Base Museum in Denison.
It hung in my mother's closet, so when she passed away, I took possession of it, and luckily we were able to make contact and bring his uniform and some of his other memories out, memorials out here.
A stark reminder that all gave some and some, like Sergeant Burchfield, gave all. In Denison, Texas, Caroline Kellum, K10 News.